A little over 20 years ago, ABR was permitted to start rehabbing orphaned cubs and injured or malnourished yearling bears. Most of those have come from Tennessee and the Smoky Mountains National Park. There's been a handful from other states. But the program was set up primarily because you were getting these orphan cubs. These cubs are being abandoned or orphaned, the mothers are being killed. And you've got these cubs and there's really not much you can do with them. It's a great service for us because, to be quite frank, there's not much you can do with an orphan cub. So the group stepped up, started raising money, secured a facility, and then came to the agency and asked for a permit to rehab these cubs. This bear, it came from Greene County. It was found around the Paint Creek area, lethargic. So the officer picked it up and transported it down here, and you know, they've done their job and he's ready to go. So we will weigh him, put some ear tags in him, and then we will take him back to Greene County. That's where the bear came from. That's where we should take it. You know, we're trying not to do any supplemental stocking or whatever you want to call it as far as expansion. The entire state used to be covered in bears, you know, back when the state was first settled, and now they were relegated to the easternmost counties, and as they've recovered, they're starting to recolonate and reclaim their former range and slowly moving west. So we're wanting to try to document where that's occurring. Right now we're wrapping up our first year of our population estimate, our density estimate that we're doing, which is a cooperative effort between Tennessee, Georgia, North Carolina, and South Carolina. This year we did our easternmost counties, along with South Carolina and Georgia doing theirs, and then next year North Carolina will do their part of that. So we'll have an estimate of the entire southern Appalachian mountain area for black bears, and then the agency is hoping to do 2 more phases out over the next 2 summers and go further west over towards the region 2 and 3 boundaries. Well, we've always estimated, including the park, you know, between 5,000 and 6,000 bears, but that's really an estimate based on your harvest and having a general idea that you're probably harvesting around 5 to 10% of your population. Historically, big game populations have been very difficult to get a handle on, but the new technology out there is allowing that to happen. And for the bear, the technology is using the DNA analysis. It's a passive survey. We're setting barbed wire hair traps up in the woods, and the bears go through the barbed wire. It collects the hair, and then we're pulling the hair off and do DNA analysis to identify the individual, and it's just a basic mark recapture from that point. So the technology's finally gotten to where we can get these estimates. The thing that's important to know about bears is their natural range in Tennessee is the entire state. If you look at historical documents, the place was full of black bears. So the bears aren't really migrating, they're recolonizing former range. And that's going on all over the southeast. And the agency's stance is that we're not going to discourage that, but we're not going to encourage it either by doing any supplemental stocking. What the agency is doing is we've been developing with all the other southeast states a new education program called BearWise. And one of the things we're focusing on is to try to get people ready for what's coming, because we are going to have bears in Middle Tennessee. I mean, we're already seeing reports of cubs in Franklin County, down that way. We occasionally get reports up in Macon County. We've gotten reports even in West Tennessee on the Mississippi border. The bear population is expanding into that former range, and so as an agency, our goal is to try to get people prepared for that. People just have to be aware of what to do when they do live in areas where there's bears, and that's basically managing the attractants, which would be things like bird seed, household garbage, and pet foods. If they'll take care of those 3 items, that'll cover probably 95% of the issues that we have with bears.